Welcome back. Hopefully you've just watched episode 2 of Prehistoric Planet, the desert episode, because I'm gonna be talking a little bit of mild spoilers. So if you care about spoilers, there's other videos on my channel you can watch. Without further ado, let's talk about Prehistoric Planet deserts. The episode opens up with the migration of the Dreadnoughtus herd, confirmed that they are Dreadnoughtus. A lot of people were wondering before these episodes came out exactly what they were, ranging anything from Patasaurs to Argentinosaurs to Alamosaurus. I even originally thought they were Alamosaurus, but they're Dreadnoughtus. In this episode, the Dreadnoughtus herd is made up of mostly males, and they cross the desert to get to a group of females to do their stupid mating ritual with their ball sacks on their necks, and that was pretty cool to watch. It was really interesting to see that they showed the size of the Dreadnoughtus in how slow they were moving and grappling. They almost looked like they were moving in slow motion, which the real thing probably would have because they're huge. Not literally slow motion, but just slow, intentional movements. Many people wonder if these guys could actually do the grappling, wrestling, rearing, and fighting that they were doing, and I think they could have, because if you look at things that are gigantic and seem like they can't do much, like elephants and rhinos, you'll see that they can get up to they can be quite limber. That's why they were used in circuses for as long as they have. They can rear up, they can stand on balls, they can do headstands and so much more, so why can't the sauropods have done that? They would have had enough muscle and fat and cushions and all sorts of things to allow them to push themselves off the ground, so why they couldn't battle each other, fall down, and get up just doesn't make sense. From there, we get to see a Barbarydactylus mating colony, creche, harem sort of thing on the top of a Grand Canyonlands-esque sort of rocky platform in the desert. The males are reconstructed with the giant tuning fork crest, and the females are reconstructed without it, as most pteranodonts like Pteranodon and Geosternbergia and Nyctosaurus show this sort of sexual dimorphism. The major theme of this segment is the inclusion of the sneaky male, or as Paleo Twitter is now calling him, femboy. This being the male that doesn't grow the giant tuning fork crest and instead looks like a female, except for having the red colors of the male, and it sneaks into the area and tries to mate with the female. It was quite humorous. The big male comes over and tries to display to the sneaky male, so that kind of was an interesting scenario. And from there, we're taken to a pack of sleeping Tarbosauruses, which are replete with some awesome coloration and patterning of red and yellowish tan spots. These guys seem to have no, fuzz on them. The adult Tyrannosaurus from the first episode had a little bit of fuzz on it. In this segment, the lizards of the area are trying to catch flies off of the Tarbosaurus because they're sleeping around a sauropod carcass, attracting flies. It's just gonna happen, When you're stinky, you get the flies, and when you get the flies, you get the lizards, and that's just how it goes, And when you get the lizards, you get the things that want to eat the lizards, like the velociraptors, which are the best velociraptors ever put to screen, at least scientifically. They have everything we know Velociraptor had. Full wings, a full coat of feathers all over its body, the tail fan, the ultra-long talons on the feet, and some sort of lip-like tissue on the face covering the mouth, or maybe it's some sort of keratin sheath like a proto-beak or something, and no slit croc-like pupils to be seen. So that's cool, because that's freaking boring. It would have been interesting for the narrator to tell the audience about the flies, because even my dad, who was watching it with me, was asking if flies were even around at the time, and that's a good indication of what the audience might be wondering when they're watching. And I was like, yeah, they were, but a lot of people don't know that a large percentage of small animals that are with us today were alive in Cretaceous times. Not literally the same species or even genera, but flies were around, roly-polies were around, etc., etc. From the Velociraptor scene, we're taken to the watering hole scene, which is reminiscent of Disney's Dinosaur, Lion King, The Jungle Book, and also reminiscent of real life. There's plenty of watering hole footage on YouTube you can find that shows a ton of different animals coming to drink, as well as predators coming to drink when the herbivores are gone, including that one where the cheetah gets totally nabbed by the crocodile. That's pretty disturbing. My favorite dinosaur, Therizinosaurus, was there, but as a cameo. For shame. Dr. Naish is inferring that Therizinosaurus might come up again in later episodes, so we'll have to just wait and see on that one. The titanosaurs that come to the watering hole are referred to as a Mongolian giant, and as far as I know, the best thing that matches that are some fossil trackways and no actual fossils. One particular shot that I found really cool was the wide shot of the Tarbosaurus coming to drink and all the animals parting to let it in so that it didn't attack them. It's a wide shot, and you see the water reflecting the animals, and then you see the sky, and it's just constructed particularly well, with a particularly good sense of space. Then from there, we're taken to the Cicernosaurus desert crossing. Cicernosaurus is, as far as I know, rather fragmentary, so this one's kind of based off of other Kritosaur-type hadrosaurs. What's interesting about this segment is that it takes place in a white sand desert, with the white sands being made up of gypsum grains, and gypsum sand is notorious for not preserving anything that dies in it or gets covered in it, because the sand eats away the bone to nothing, which is why there's no fossils at White Sands National Park. It'd be really interesting to do an experimental study on that to see why precisely that the gypsum sand eats away the bones, but that's just me. The hadrosaurs, the Cicernosaurus, use the stars as a map to get from one place to the other, and David Attenborough notes that a lot of migratory animals today use a similar thing, so I guess it's accurate. I'll have to look more into that for my full in-depth review of this episode. These episodes are almost like they're filmed with an IMAX camera. I know it's not, or I guess I don't know it's not, but it looks like it, and it would be really, really cool to see it actually in IMAX in 3D. In that respect, I hope it gets a Blu-ray disc released, or even better, a Steelbook 4K Ultra HD Plus Blu-ray box set. Yes, please. So far, I like episode 2 better than episode 1. I'd give episode 1 like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, and I'd give this one a 8 or 9 out of 10. I usually never rate any movie I've ever seen as a 10 out of 10, because a 10 out of 10 for me is literally the top of the top, the best movie ever, or show, or whatever. And I don't think anything has objectively been a 10 out of 10, or subjectively to me. 9 out of 10 is essentially a 10 out of 10 for normal people. What did you think of episode 2? Hopefully you've watched it and didn't get spoiled if spoilers matter to you. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more of these. See you tomorrow for the next episode, my favorite episode.